The courtroom was packed. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead, and the smell of old wood and coffee filled the air. At the front, Judge Meredith Stone adjusted her glasses, her eyes sharp, her lips thin with judgment. At the defendant's table sat a man who seemed out of place. His hair was cut short, his shoulders squared like a soldier, yet his suit looked borrowed, slightly wrinkled. Beside him sat his young daughter, clutching a worn teddy bear. This was Daniel Hayes, a single dad, a veteran, and a man fighting not just for custody of his child but for his dignity. The mockery. Judge Stone glanced over her file and scoffed. "Mr. Hayes," she said, her voice dripping with disdain, "you've chosen to represent yourself? Let me remind you this is not a playground, it's a courtroom. This is custody litigation, not a DIY project." A ripple of laughter spread through the room. Daniel sat still, jaw tight. His daughter tugged at his sleeve, whispering, "Daddy, don't let them laugh at you." He smiled down at her, calm. "I won't, sweetheart." The judge leaned back in her chair. "You know, I've seen more veterans try to play lawyer before. It never ends well. Maybe you should have stayed in your lane." Gasps broke out. The words hung heavy, cruel, and unnecessary. Daniel didn't flinch. He simply stood, adjusted his tie, and walked slowly to the center of the courtroom. He placed a thick folder on the podium. "Your Honor," he said evenly, "with all due respect, I didn't come here to play lawyer. I came here because I am one." The courtroom went silent. Judge Stone raised her eyebrows. "Excuse me?" Daniel opened the folder, pulling out documents with practiced precision. "Before I wore the uniform of the United States Army, I wore the robe of this court. I was admitted to the bar 15 years ago. I clerked for Judge Whitmore. I built one of the most successful defense practices in this state. But then, life called me to serve. And when I came back, I wasn't the same. My wife wasn't the same. She left. And all I had left was my daughter." His voice cracked, but he didn't stop. "So no, Your Honor. I am not here unprepared. I am here as a father and as an attorney, fighting for the only family I have left." The judge's gavel slipped slightly in her hand. The room erupted in whispers. Even the opposing counsel looked rattled. Judge Stone cleared her throat, suddenly careful. "Proceed, Mr. Hayes." And proceed he did. Daniel cross-examined with razor-sharp precision. He picked apart weak arguments, cited precedent cases from memory, and exposed contradictions in the opposing side's testimony. His voice was calm but commanding, every word weighted with conviction. It wasn't arrogance. It wasn't revenge. It was truth, truth delivered with the discipline of a soldier, and the brilliance of a seasoned attorney. The laughter from earlier was gone. Now all eyes were fixed on him. At the end, Daniel turned not to the judge, not to the lawyers, but to his daughter. "Katie," he said softly, his voice breaking, "do you know why I fight so hard?" She clutched her teddy bear tighter, her eyes wide. "Because when your mom left, people told me I couldn't raise you alone. They said a soldier doesn't know how to be a father. But every night, I watched you fall asleep on my chest. Every morning, I braided your hair the best I could. And every day, I swore I'd protect you, not just on the battlefield, but here, in life. Today isn't about winning a case. It's about proving that love, real love, doesn't quit." Tears rolled down his daughter's cheeks. Even the court reporter wiped her eyes. Judge Stone sat frozen, her earlier arrogance gone. She looked at Daniel, then at the little girl clinging to him. Finally, she removed her glasses. Her voice, once cold and mocking, was now low and steady. "Mr. Hayes. Daniel. I owe you an apology. Today, you reminded this court what justice truly looks like. It's not about pride or power, it's about heart. And from what I've seen, your daughter couldn't ask for a more devoted father." She struck her gavel. "Full custody granted." The courtroom erupted, not in laughter but in applause. Strangers stood. Even the opposing counsel nodded with respect. Daniel lifted his daughter into his arms. She whispered in his ear, Daddy, you're my hero. He smiled, whispering back. No, Katie. You're mine. As they walked out of the courtroom hand in hand, the once mocking judge watched them go with a quiet smile, forever changed by the lesson she had just witnessed. That sometimes, the greatest victories in life aren't won on battlefields or in courtrooms, but in the quiet, steady fight of a parent's love.